Okay, so continuing the session. So this time I'll be handling design of RC structural elements. It's a continuation of structural subjects. Now, can you please tell me which are the subjects you've learned? What are the prerequisites? How many of you guys have enrolled in the classroom, Google Classroom? Registered in the Google Classroom for RCC? If you are not done, do it today only. Okay, I've already shared IS 456 standard code, Indian standard code of practice for RC structural elements. Okay, and IS 89875, which is a code we used for loading. Okay, for reference of load distribution, it's used. And now, what we are going to study in this particular subject. So this subject deals with design and analysis of structural elements. Okay, so we will be having 3 hours of lecturer hours in a week and 2 hours of tutorials, and more or less all the 5 hours will be taken continuously. Not only 5 hours, as in survey classes, I will be taking all the possible free classes for this design of RC structural elements. I will not restrict my class only for 5. You know why I gave that common Google ID? So that every now and then, whenever I come to know that your class is free, I will pitch in into your class and I will take the class. Otherwise, it is not possible for me to complete the portions. Okay? And I can't stop myself solving one problem, because we have varieties of methods or varieties of types. So we at least 2-3 problems I'll have to solve from one particular type. If I want to do that, you have to attend the classes regularly. You will not get the continuity if you miss the class. Very important. Okay. Usually I used to take this design subject for 2 hours continuously. But since it is online, I also don't want it. Otherwise, I would have requested the timetable officers to put RCC structure continuously for 2 hours. That is what we used to do. It was a practice for that. Otherwise, I will not be able to solve even one problem in 1 hour. Okay. So now, internal marks is as similar to that of 30 plus 10. 30 will be your internals and 10 is your assignment. External marks will be 60 marks and total marks is 100. It carries 4 credits. Okay, this is a weightage given to the subject. Now, if I talk about the prerequisite, you have to know elements, you have to know the mechanics of elements, and you have to know a little bit of materials. You have to know SOM. Complete SOM we have to know. You have to know complete SOM. Okay. Then, how many of you guys have revised the subjects? I've already given in a classroom, I've mentioned it to go to the subject before you attend the classes. How many of you? Can I get any response from you people? How many of you guys have brushed up your SOM? If you have not done, please do it. And I want you people to ask any doubt in the same hour. Okay? You're always free to ask any doubt in the same hour. And I'll tell you why. If you carry one doubt in you, the next hour you will not understand anything. Okay, this is a critical subject. I'm not scaring you, but trust me, this is a beautiful subject. If you know the logic, if you know how to use the code, you will just play with this subject. It is very nice subject. I'll tell you why also. More or less, the procedure will be there in code itself. I've also shared the code so that you will keep a hard copy of that code with you in every class of RCC. In every class of RCC, you need to keep a code with you. And take a book and pen and calculator. These three are mandatory for every class of RCC. Okay? Now, so the object of this course, you will identify, formulate and solve engineering problem of RC elements subjected to different types of loading. I'll explain what is RC elements and all later. Okay, so that means you'll be able to identify, formulate and solve engineering problem. Right? Now, what is that you are going to identify? What is that you are going to formulate? Now, if you want to design a structure, you have to identify the first and foremost types of load coming on the structure, type of environment that you are going to expose the structure to. Okay, how the structure behaves when the load is applied on the structure, so on. Okay, accordingly, you will also analyze the structure and design the structure. What is analysis? What is design? I'll explain it. Okay. Now, if I think of different types of loading, as a basic types, you might have exposed this different types of loading in the previous prerequisite. Correct? You have learned in elements also. You have learned in SOM also. The same SOM concept is applied here also. Same loading type, same SFT BMD. Correct? Everything will be done here also. Following a procedural knowledge in designing various structural RC element. As I told you, more or less it is there in codebook. Everything is defined in codebook. All you have to know is how to use the codebook. If you open your codebook on the day of internals or on the day of externals, you will not know anything. You will not know how to copy also. Okay. Now we can see who is the best, who can copy nicely or who is the best copier. Okay, we will see that. Impart the usage of code for strength, serviceability and durability. I don't know how many of you guys know about the difference between serviceability and durability. In that we will learn later. Okay, strength is a factor which will take load coming on it. Serviceability in general, I'm just discussing in general. In deep we will learn later. Serviceability is serving for a longer life. For example, for 100 years, for 50 years, or for 150 years. We have an structures example of 500 years, 200 years, isn't it? That is a service given by that particular structure. Durability is that structure carrying the same strength from the day 1 to day n. Is it durable? Okay, durability. I'm just telling in a general sense. In depth, technically we will deal later. Provide knowledge in analysis and design of RC elements. So what are RC element? RC is nothing but reinforced concrete elements. Reinforced concrete elements means, what are the reinforced concrete elements? Any part of a structure which is constructed with reinforced concrete is called as reinforced element. Now element. Okay, can you guys let me know what are the elements of RC structure? Any response?
Coarse aggregate, fine aggregate.
Those are the materials, ma. Those are the materials. Elements. Elements of columns, beams, slabs, foundation. Correct? These are elements. Okay? It is like assembling of different elements together to form a RC structure. Fine? So, why we are studying separately, that I will let you know. Okay? Now, so what we are going to deal in first module? First module gives us the brief introduction about working stress and limit state design. So as we started designing the RC structure, it is not like the day one we have started with the best method. There was a continuous progress on continuous research. People worked on this RC structure, okay, with the experience, with the application. They find out some mistakes or some deficiencies. Again, that was rectified. The next method was evolved. Okay, like that, we have arrived at limit state method. The first method was working stress method, and now the present method, what we are doing is limit state method. So we will know what are the difference between those two, how they did arrived at limit state method, all that we will learn. Okay, then modular ratio, factor of safety, and evaluation of design constants for working stress method. These are again few factors which is required in the analysis and design. What is modular ratio or factor of safety? Factor of safety, I hope everyone knows in general. Okay, but in the design, we will put factor of safety with respect to the material separately and for a load separately. And why it is put also we will discuss. What are the factors taken, safety taken, why it is put? Okay, all that we will be discussing. Then, philosophy and principles of limit state design with assumption. You will be surprised if you say that I hope all you people know about that word, no? Which comes first? Egg comes first or chicken comes first? Correct? Anyways, even it is still in, I think it is still, the argument is still going on. Okay, or it might have been decided also. Now let me know, if you want to design, you have to assume something. If you want to assume, you should have some basic rules. Okay, if you want to arrive at that basic rules, again you have to design. This is what we start the design and analysis with. If you want to design, you need the analysis part. If you want to know the analysis, you have to know the design part. Okay, so but how? This is what we are doing. This is what the experienced people have given us some thumb rule and standard codes to follow. They have mentioned everything in a code. You have to take assumption, assume this based on something. Okay, what are the factors that we are dependent on to assume something? All that we will be discussing. Okay, partial safety factor. Now, if we consider safety factor and partial safety factor, in general sense, it's, we can tell, you know, as safety factor as a whole and partial is half of that. It is just a general explanation, okay? But exactly what is partial safety factor, we will see. Characteristic strength and characteristic load. Characteristics, okay. How many of you guys remember, have you dealt with concrete technology? Guys, have you learned concrete technology?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then I don't have to go in deep about characteristics load, right? It is a load at 28 days of curing. No, it's a strength. Characteristic strength is a strength obtained by a concrete or tube at 28 days of curing. Correct? Now, for example, if you design a concrete for M25 grade, let us think. You design a concrete, you cast a tubes and you keep it for curing. When you test that cube at 28 days, the strength obtained by that particular cube is nothing but characteristic strength. So when you think of characteristic strength, you will see that you will always keep the buffer of 5%. You remember this 5% is very common in this subject. Okay, how we will see. So like this material property is very important in the RCC. In depth we will see. Stress block parameters. Stress block parameters in general to say it's very simple. When the load is applied, how the body reacts. That's all. Body reacts. The measurement is done in two ways. One, stress. The other one is strain. Okay. Stress and strain. Now, for example, if 5 kgs or 10 kgs of load is applied on your head, or if 10 kgs of load is given, is asked you, I mean, is given to both your hands, and if you ask you to carry for some 5 minutes or 10 minutes, let us take for an hour, 1 hour, how your body, how your hands react to that loading is what we are going to see. Okay, concept of balance section, under reinforced section and over reinforced section. The balance section, will your body holding, when you hold load in your hand, okay, how your body reacts? Will it be stable throughout? Okay, if your body has to be strong and stable throughout, what should be done? Your body should be strengthened, right? So, when you think of strengthening, there are two ways. Increasing your strength, proteins in your body, or increasing your size. Correct? Remember this well, because the same concept will be applied again back to the working stress and limit state method. If you increase your, for example, your own weight, will you be able to carry the more load? Or, in a simple way to tell, will the thin person carry the same 20 kg for the same duration, or if the fat person carries the same 20 kgs for the same duration? What should be done for both of them to carry 20 kgs for a longer time? Okay, the basics of design comes from this only. The concept is he has to carry some weight. Let us take 20 kgs or let us say 50 kgs. Okay, one hefty person, the other one is thin person. So how long he will take? How long the other person will take? What should be done for both of them to carry? If he is collapsing, when he is going to collapse? Your RCC is done. Okay, this is what you learn in RCC. The same thing comes with the concept of balanced under and over reinforced section. Now I stopped with collapse, right? Now from there onwards, limiting deflection. Okay, before he collapse, he will show some reaction in his face or bending towards one side, isn't it? If he is bending, how much he will bend? How long he will bend? Okay, what will be the total reaction, like his face, his body, whether he is bending, all that. Okay, that is what you're going to learn in deflection, short-term deflection, long-term deflection. How the structural member, okay, when it deflects, what are the short-term deflection? What are the long-term deflection? Okay, why you have to learn all this? To counteract or to strengthen the structure to withstand the deflection. Okay, it is in a simple way. If you know the problem, half of your problem is solved, isn't it? If you know the problem, what is your problem, then half of your problem is solved. Identification of a problem itself is a problem, a big problem. Once it is identified, your solution is obtained. Okay, now if you are thinking same, if it is a long-term deflection, you have to give us different treatment. If it is a short-term deflection, you have to give a different treatment. Okay, there is a cases where you get a total deflection. So all these will be calculated by using some procedure which is being defined in the code book. Okay. Now, not only that, if the structure has to collapse, or if a person has to collapse totally, there will be some damages, correct? Some cracks obtained. The same way, the element structure will also show some cracks. Okay. There is some limitations. Some limitations means permissible limits of cracks. For example, if it is some 5 mm crack is acceptable. How did I arrive at 5 mm? Again, there is a criteria that is been defined. Okay, crack is simple crack. Okay. Now, are we going to restrict that 5 mm, or are we going to accept more, or what are the crack obtained? What will be the crack obtained? All that will be calculated. Okay, obtained in each member. Now, side reinforcement is if the depth of the beam increases beyond some limit, we have to give the side reinforcement. What is that? I'll tell you later. Okay. Slender limits of beam for stability. So slender limit is a slender limit you will better understand in column. Okay. See, more than column, you just take a thin stick and make it to stand. And take some FT thick of a shorter length and make it to stand, which will stand straight. FT and short, right? If the thin and long stick has to be made straight, it has to be given some more additional support. Right? Similarly, column will also be designed accordingly. Short column, long column. Okay, this slender ratio will come over there. The same concept applies for beam also. Okay, now what is the slender limit of beam? Now the beam length always is checked between two supports. If the supports extend like more than 5 meters up to 10 meters, the length of the beam will increase, right? Then accordingly the depth of the beam should also be increased. You decrease the beam and increase the length, it will definitely fail. It will become like a thin stick. It will not take more load. Okay, so what is that we are going to do to this and how we are going to design this, we will deal with later. Right, that is what we are going to learn now. Okay, in module 2, we will analyze single reinforced, double reinforced and flanged beam for flexural and shear. I hope you know what is shear and what is flexural. Correct? I'll repeat again. You people have to go through the song. Okay? And what is singly reinforced? What is doubly reinforced? It is placing reinforcement in one direction, placing reinforcement in two directions. Top and bottom both. Okay? So, how to analyze that? There is a procedure that we will learn. Design of single and double reinforced beam. And in the module 2, we will only analyze. In module 3, we will design. The same structure, it is like one beam will analyze in a module 2 and the same beam will be designed in the module 3. You will be involving or considering few more parameters for a design. Or you will extend, the extension of the analysis is nothing but the design. Okay? Then we will design for shear torsion. What is torsion? Do you guys know what is torsion? If you tell me you don't know, I will teach you in regular class. If you keep quiet, I will assume it as you know everything. I want the response.
Twisting force.
Hmm?
Twisting force, ma'am.
Twisting force. Correct. It is a twisting force. Correct. So can you tell me where you see the twisting force in a RC, frame structure? Do you know what is frame structure?
No,
Okay, I'll
ma'am.
explain that. I'll explain that. No problem. Okay. So we will see how to counteract or how to consider the twisting force and what are the measures taken, how it is strengthened, all that we will see. Okay. Limit state design of slabs and stairs. Slab, you know, it may be a roofing slab or it may be a base slab. Okay. So how to do, which are the different ways of slab available with the different supports. Okay. We will analyze and we will design in this particular model. And we will also design dog-legged and open well staircase with the important of bond, anchorage, length and lap length. What is bonding, what is anchorage length and what is lap length? This we will see. Okay. This again a design procedure, design is involved. Okay, it's everything, all the design. See, if you finish this first module, no, from second module onwards, everything is there in codebook. First module also it is there. I'm not telling no. Okay. For first module, they'll give some 2-3 points. You'll have to elaborate that. But in second and third, fourth, fifth module, everything is there in code. You have to just use that formulas and give the answer. That is all you have to do. Okay. But which formula to use, when to use, where to use, you should know. Everything is given. Okay. Which one to use, when to use, where to use. These three factors you should know. If you want to know these three factors, you should understand the subject. You got me? So you can't bad this subject. You have to understand this subject. And I'll tell you one more thing. No one can give the same answer in any design. Because like how in every individual has a different thumb rule, every thumb impression, okay, every individual has a different what identity. Every design will have a different identity. Okay, only if all the parameters in the beginning is taken same 100%, or if you copy from the others, you will get the same answer. Now, if I tell you 65 students should give me 65 answers, okay, and all the answers, how to vary, how your next question will be how you evaluate, correct? That 5% of variation is always accepted. 5% of variation is always accepted. It is like rounding off. Now, if you round off, see, now, what is this number rounding off? If you get some decimal number, some people will get 5.4, some people will get 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, correct? Either you have to round it off to 5.5, or you should round it off to 5.6. Correct? You will not round it off to 7. Then it is wrong. Correct? In no case you will allow me to round it off to 4. Isn't it? Now in a mark, if you score 5.4, let us assume that 5.5, that 5 is acceptable. Okay? Not in between 5.5. It is either 5, 5.5, 6. Like that. Okay? And you score 5.4. Will you allow me to round it off to 4 or 4.5 or 5? Let us take. No, you'll ask me, why don't you round it off to 5.5? Correct? Similarly, in no case you will reduce the strength. You will only increase the strength. But how much you will increase? Your increase, increase should not be over increased. I'll give one more example. Now, everyone are taking multivitamin tablet and calcium tablet without doctor's consent. Correct? Multivitamin tablet because of corona. And every now and then people start taking calcium tablet, stating I am weak and I have to strengthen my bones. Correct? You know what is a side effect of taking calcium tablet without the consent? All the calcium will go on those tablets. The external supplement what we take will deposit in one place. Your strength will definitely not increase. Instead, you will have to undergo surgery where the deposition is formed. Okay, the same applies in this also. If you arbitrarily increase your strength, it will not work properly. Why it will not work properly? Because when we design a structure, we will not design a structure for the services. In fact, we will consider more, we will concentrate more on the collapse and design the structure. That means if a structure, let us think if a structure is designing, we will not design directly for increasing the strength. That increasing strength will depend on the collapse. Now, the structure will fail at this point. Okay, if I want the structure to sustain for longer time, what should be the increase in the strength? It is like a back work. Okay, so we will increase the strength for the required target. Okay, we would have some target, correct? We will only increase. Now let us take our target level is here. Okay, we will keep on increasing the strength till this point, not over that. If you increase over that, it will be over reinforced. How? We will see. Okay, not only that, how it fails, how the structure fails, failure analysis. We will consider more failure analysis than they design the structure. We design a structure for failure. Okay, I'll give one more example. How many, I don't know what were you people, in which class standard you people were when the Twin Tower got blasted. The Twin Tower collapsed, no? You heard about it, Twin Tower? If you have not done, yes, if you have not known, you please go through it. When it collapsed, see, the structure is like this, right? When it collapsed like this, inside, not outside. Usually, okay, with this, if the structure is standing like this, okay, it has collapsed inside like this, not like outside the periphery. That means the design is done in such a way that when it falls, it will fall inside only, so that it will not damage the adjacent area. Now tell me, if the concept should be incorporated in the beginning of a design, means we should know how it falls now, how it collapses now. So that pattern is included in the beginning of the design and analysis. Okay. Fine. So like this, we learn more about a failure analysis, then we strengthen our structure. For that, we will have to know all this bonding, anchorage, okay, lap length, how, if the overlapping, lap length is nothing but lapping like this. Can you see this? It is just a lap like this, one above the other. You people have done, I don't know whether you people have done that workshop in first year. Yes or no? Did you people did that workshop? You had a workshop subject, huh? Guys, I need a response. Hello?
Which one?
There also a subject called workshop. I don't
No,
know.
ma'am, we haven't done.
Then okay. It is there you will learn all the joins and all. Okay. Anyways, otherwise also we will see how to deal with all that. Okay. So this is what you are going to study in the subject. Now, course outcome. So once you completely study this subject, what is that you are going to do? What you will be able to do? So you recognize the design philosophy and understand the difference between the structural behavior of different RC structural elements. Okay, different RC structural element, how it behaves, you will be able to identify and recognize. Analyze the different RC structural element subjected to flexural, shear, torsion, and axial load. So these are the different types of load distribution: shear, flexural, torsion, and axial load. Axial load, where you come across axial load? In columns. Okay, we will see that later. Design the different RC structural member using unit strength method as per IS code provision. So we are going to follow the procedure mentioned in the IS code, and we will design the elements. Design the structural member for a given condition to enhance the structural properties. See, this fourth outcome is especially for your innovative question in your internals. Okay, CO4, fourth course outcome. So let us think you are coming across some condition of an environmental condition. How you design the structure? What are the properties that you are going to incorporate? You are not going to, yes, you will follow the outline or a procedure given, but need not repeat every procedure, or you might have to include more properties for like a current invention. Okay, like IS 456 2000 was edited on 2000. Now it is 20, right? Now in between you might have seen many inventions, many material properties. You will incorporate all those and see how the structure behaves. That is what you are going to do in innovation. That is itself is your innovation, right? And trust me, no one can invent something in half an hour or 45 minutes, especially in design subjects. Okay. So yes, but you can always analyze something. You can always come to know something is wrong there or something is extra there. If something is extra, what was done? Okay, if I give this extra, what will be the response from the structure? All this you will come to know. Prepare a project report and present in a concise and complete manner to include structural drawing and structural calculation. Okay, how many of you guys have registered for the MOOC which I sent yesterday? If you have not done, do it. Okay, I'll tell you why. That is directly given for the assignment. That is one point. That is directly given for the assignment. Okay, I'm not telling full 10 marks will be assigned given for that. Partially it will be given, and the report, the fifth course outcome is written for the assignment only. It is in a simple way to understand, it's self-learning. We will also see how you learn on your own and how you come up with a good presentation or good understanding of a drawing. You know what? If you understand the drawing properly in the civil engineering, you have done with many things. Many things you'll be done with, because more or less people doesn't know to read the drawing only properly. If you want to know to read the drawing properly, you have to know so many subjects then. Okay, so now the MOOC what I have floated is into its software, Revit. Correct? What we did last time and all, we had a workshop for the students. We had 5 days workshop, and on open course also we conducted Revit 2. Now we are not doing that, so I've just floated in the course itself. If you enroll through your USN email ID, official email ID, through BMS site, it is for free of cost. You can definitely do it, or else you will have to charge. They'll charge you, and it is quite expensive. Okay, so you have to learn. See that Revit is not there in our syllabus, and outside now Revit and few other softwares are more in practice. So before you complete your 4 years of engineering, we will make sure that you will be learning few softwares which is not there in our syllabus. Fine. Now this is outcome. So textbooks. Annikrishnan Pillai and Devdas Menon, reinforced concrete design. Okay, reinforced concrete design. This particular subject explains how to analyze the structure and how to design the structure. And Subramaniam, design of concrete structure, and H.J. Shah, design of concrete structure. Again, it's a volume 1 or any other recent version. See, you take out any textbook, any designs textbook, they will also follow the same IS 456 code. All the differences, number of numericals will be more, okay? Or when they explain that analysis, they might be here and there some simple words they would have used. Otherwise, more or less, all the textbook will be same. Okay. For references, you can see if you want to learn more about analysis, you can see this PC Varghese. It's a very nice textbook. PC Varghese, limited design of reinforced concrete, but they have more concentrated on analysis part. Okay. And what I want to tell is, you take any textbook, follow one textbook from the day 1 to end. Why I'll tell you. The terminologies, what they've used will be different. Okay, you follow any textbook. There are other textbooks also like Punmaya and there are other textbooks. So many textbooks are there. Every person will do the same thing. They will also follow IS 456 only. Okay, some textbooks will give you only numericals, follow that numericals. That is also fine. Fine. Now, very importantly, I want to tell you something. Unless otherwise you write and practice, you will not get the answer. Though all the steps are same, you will end up doing some mistakes. More than anything else, you will be not able to manage time in exam. If you want to manage time in exam, 5 full questions if you have to answer, then you should have practice and your speed should be like anything. Then only you can complete. So far, the students who have learned these courses, they have only told one complaint, that they are not able to manage the time. This every semester and in every first class, I will tell everyone, please write and practice. Otherwise, you will not be able to manage. You take my words. You just do one test. Okay, what you do, no? You do one complete design. You note down the time. Say, will you be able to do in 5 hours? Sorry, 5 questions in 3 hours. Okay, you should know, you should solve complete design. And see what, that too, you should be like, 100% numerical, 100% steps. You're not going to use code for every small things. You will know that answer. Like that you think. Then you write. Okay. But use a calculator. And see, manage the time. And see whether you will be able to complete 5 questions in 3 hours or not. I have not seen an example of people scoring more than 80 marks in this RCC subject. That is not because people doesn't know. It is because they will not be able to manage the time. More or less, it is very easy to score marks in this subject, provided if you manage the time. Okay. Okay. Now this is all about the syllabus. And in brief, I will tell you where RCC is applied. Now, where it is applied, any structure which is constructed with reinforcement and concrete, we are going to apply in. Correct? Now, there are two major types of construction in common. I'm not, remember, this subject will not deal with the bridges or any other structures. It is only with the common constructions, okay, like frame structure, let us think. But yes, this frame structure concept is an input for bridge and other constructions. Okay, so now if I tell you in structures, if a person is called as a structural engineering, definitely he will not be able to design all the structures as a whole, because the analysis of a RCC structure is different, analysis of a steel structure is different, but the base for both is same. You understand why? I'll tell you in a simple way. Foundation will be same, right? It is in a ground only, right? Above that we can construct either RCC or steel or wood or any temporary structure, but the basement will be there. Similarly, this any design structures subjects are same. Either it is steel or concrete or any other, the analysis, the bending moment, the shear force, torsion, axial load, everything will come from SOM only. Okay, even PSC, pre-stressed concrete structure, for that also the input is from SOM. Okay, later you will learn many elements or many structures. Even for that also the input from SOM, DRCC and extension. Okay, now when we think of the application, it is like frame structure and masonry structure. How many of you guys have seen masonry structure? Do you know what is masonry structure?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
Brick wall, ma'am.
Brick
The
wall.
walls are built first.
Exactly. See, I'll now let us think. There are two major divisions. One is frame structure, the other one is masonry structure. Okay. Now, frame structure is what we are seeing now. This one. Okay. It is just column. A vertical member is called column. Horizontal member is called beam. And slab inside the filling between the beams is called slab. Okay. The filling between the, see, if you look at this, this is a filling. The beam is there. This filling is slab. It may be a floor slab or it may be a roof slab. Okay. Slab, if it is filled in horizontal direction, okay, that is called as floor or roof slab. Okay. If the vertical filling is provided, see, this is vertical filling, even this is filling. This is reinforced one. If vertical filling, the walls are filled with the reinforcement, then it is called as shear wall. Okay. And we have an extension of a column inside the ground as basement wall. Wall, it is called as wall if it is of masonry. Okay. If it is a column only extended, like a short column, okay, it may be called as a short column and any other names. We will discuss that. Okay. This column will be supported with the footing here. this, can you, the T shape or this one? Fine. This is footing. And there are different types of footings also. See, this is spread footing. This is footing. So overall, if you think of elements of the structure, it is foundation, column, okay, beams, slabs. That is what, if I want to go for a next floor, then there is a staircase. Fine. So these are the elements of the column. Now, why we have to analyze separately? Now, if I ask you to analyze the foundation along with this, then we will have to learn how this slab is behaving. Okay. If I take the slab, effects of the slab directly to the foundation and column to the foundation, beam to the foundation, these two slab to the foundation, don't you think it will really mess up everything? So what we do is, we design this separately. Okay? We will design this column separately and we will design this beam separately. This beam is designed based on, okay, the beam is designed based on the effect of this slab. How the slab is reacting on the beam. What are the effects of the slab on the beam? So considering the effects of slab, beam is designed. Considering the effect of beam, column is designed. Considering the column effect, footing is designed. Okay. Now, what does the effect stands for? What does the effect refer to? Effects refer to the load. Understand? Okay. Now, I'll tell you how the load is transferred. Look at this diagram. See, this is how the load is transferred. If you look at this load path of building, any load acting downward is taken as gravity load. Correct? Now, N type of load may be on the slab. That N type of load will be distributed equally to these 4 beams. Okay. So once the beam load is distributed to these 4 beams, that load pattern we will learn again. That is different. Okay. Now, from this beam, the load is transferred to this column. Okay. So look at this arrow mark. It is going away. Correct. Half of the load from the beam is going to this point, and half of the load from this beam, the same load is transferred to this point. Correct? Now, the load from this point plus the self weight of the column and the load from the column is transferred on this footing here at this point. For this particular load, the footing is designed. Okay? And if I'm designing the footing, since the footing is in the ground, we will take a earth pressure. Okay, we will understand more in when we, earth pressure everything when we design the footing. You understand why we are learning separately? Then see, in virtually, if you think, we will not actually connect each other, but we will take the effects of that on the next member. That is how it is designed. Fine. Then you understand how the load, this should be understood properly. Why I am telling? Because when you consider the load, you should know which are the loads considered. Now, can anyone tell me which are the loads considered for this slab? External load plus self weight of the slab. Correct? If I am considering on the beam, load of slab, okay, plus load of external load will be on the beam, including the self weight. Now, if I am considering on, if I want to design the column, I will consider the beam load, okay, plus self weight of the column. If I am designing the footing, I will consider the total load of the column plus self weight of the footing. Okay. This is called a frame structure. It is just like a frame. Look at this. There is only column, beam, slab. Column, beam, slab. This is a frame type. This is a frame structure. And there is a combination of framed and masonry structure. Okay. You can also construct. Now at present, many people in practice, they do these combinations. Only when you go for multi-story structures, you go this for frame structure. Why? Because frame structure is not required for any D+2 or 3 structures. Okay. Now look at this. This is a masonry structure. There is no beam, only brickwork. Can you see that? This? But when they go for a slab, look at this. The slab is of reinforced. Okay, the slab is of reinforced section. Fine. They have placed on the masonry wall. So this will simply act like a simply supported member. But if you look at this, this will not act like a simply supported member. This is a continuity. You will get a rigidity over here. You will get a rigidity at this junction. Okay. How we will show that anchorage and all we will learn. No, then it is shown. I'll show that. How I'll show that. Okay. Now you understand the difference between the masonry structure and the reinforced structure. You don't see any reinforcement here. Fine. So look at this section. No reinforcement. Even the opening is supported with the slab board here. So this is how the load is distributed. Now, okay, this is the introduction part. Now today this session was supposed to be taken by Manish sir. That was a CME class. Fine. We still have one more class today in the afternoon. I'll continue the session at that time. Fine. As I told, I will not leave even one extra class of yours, free class of yours. Fine. Any doubt, guys? Okay then. See you in the afternoon session. So in the afternoon, I am going to start actual course. Fine. Introduction is done. So I'll be taking the actual course.